Hello everyone, this is Christoph here from Studio, and this is a grid editor overview video. We are using now the grid 1.2.6 version, editor and firmware 1.2.6 versions, and this is what you see first when you open up the software. We are on page 0, on element 0, and you can see specific events which depend on the module you have. I have here an encoder controller, so the EN16, and whatever I'm interacting with can be seen on my screen as well. So this is a feature which is easily turned off if it bothers you when making a configuration. For example, here you are on the local variables configuration block and you do something and you interact with another control element and you lose focus from what you were doing. This can be turned off in preferences and by ticking this box to track physical grid interaction. When it's unticked, then whatever I'm interacting with, it's not jumping away anymore. So let's turn it back on and let's see just the general usage of the configuration panel. All of these control elements are part of the UI events group or UI events class on a controller, and there is 15 of 16 control elements right here, and each control element has specific events like said before. Beside these UI events, which can be seen on top of the module, there are system events. These are hidden or can be accessed by this utility side button. This is the utility event with by default the code block on it. But here under system events is the place where you can receive MIDI and can map out the channel, the command and the parameters from a MIDI, from an incoming MIDI signal sent from a DAW or some kind of musical software. Let's go back to UI events. Now I'm on this init page, and when it comes to an encoder and in general the LED settings, there are two layers for all of the color settings. That's because when you are just simply turning a knob, then its intensity will change and the LED value's intensity, and the LED value's intensity changes when you press the button as well. And this behavior comes from the two layers. The two color layers are basically mixed together when they are overlapping and will give you another color in the end. This applies for the LED value and for the LED color as well. This is the most prominent on an encoder module because that's where a control element can be both pressed and rotated as well. So when it comes to encoder LED configurations, keep in mind that there are two LED color layers to deal with. When it comes to, for example, a BU16 module or my stream control module, this BU16 on the side, then let me change view. Okay, so this module right here. Then, for example, this button only will have a layer 1. You can select layer 2 as well, but it won't do anything, and I will disable this option later on for the button modules and potentiometer modules where layer 2 is not important. But now let's focus again on this EN16 module. And my focus is not on this module, it's on my BU16 module, because now we have a preferred serial port selector. And pay attention to what kind of module is connected into your computer and used with the grid editor when you're working with multiple controllers. For example, this is very useful for me because I can show you things in grid editor with a module. In the meanwhile, I can, control this very recording with this BU16. So I'm getting back here, okay, and these are the preferences, the track physical grid interaction checkboxes, what I showed you before, where you won't be able to move away by simply interacting with these control elements. Turning that on. This is the serial port selector, and there are other options as well later. So you can click on pretty much anything in this software. And for example, the configuration section is built up from actions under an event. These events are activated when the specific event is triggered by usually physical interaction with the module. So a button event and its actions will run when you are pressing a button. You can try this out with a print function. I added a code block action and I'm typing in print, and for example print hello. Here on the side I'm switching to debug. These bottom three buttons can change the display of this left panel, and these two buttons can change the display of the right panel. This can be also hidden, this one can't be hidden. So let's see what will this print out when I'm interacting with this control element. Commit, and now I have hello 2 times. Okay, let's move forward with configuration. Here, wherever I hover over my mouse, I see a blue line which can be clicked. If I click between the MIDI and the LED value action, then my selected preset will land there, and here in such a scenario where I have different action blocks under each other, the order matters, because there are some function calls, if you are an advanced user, that should wait for a value evaluated before the next call, if you can follow me. Let's just move forward with adding a condition if block. Okay, and I will say that this button value should be at maximum. By default this is from 0 to 127, like on the MIDI specifications, the parameter 1 value, and well, equal 127, sorry. And now if I'm interacting with this button, then hello is printed twice, 1, 2. But now if I'm moving here this code block with print, then it's only printed once. Okay. You can drag and drop all these actions by coming over this icon section and pressing down your mouse and then moving it up or down. You can also remove it by coming here. General usage, another thing, you can select these circles and then these buttons will be available. For example, I can copy this section to, I don't know, to an encoder, and I can paste it here. And here now it's both on the button event and both on the encoder event, this small code blocking example. But I'm going to focus on button event now, and the encoder as well, because let's say currently the encoder is in absolute mode, so it pretty much works like a potentiometer, which goes from 0 to 127. Usually encoders are used in relative mode, and that can be configured, of course, but let's see this example first. So value is less than 127. No, not that much. Let's make it 10 and simply give me a code block, print value, and if I did not commit my input, and that's a must when you're working with a code block. Okay, now I'm all the way down and it says it's 0, and I'm going up 1, 2, and it doesn't print out hello anymore on the encoder event. Let's say hi and hello, and I missed again to commit my actions. This is a new feature and I'm not really used to it yet. So I'm printing out hi if the value of this specific control element is below 10, and I'm not printing it out if it's higher than 10. Okay, that's not bad, but you can make something even more exciting if you add in an else section. And for example, I move this code block here and say I want to print you are not welcome. Whatever, commit, and now I'm not welcome, but then hi. Cool. Okay. This configuration under the encoder event is triggered by interacting with this specific encoder. Under the button event, here I have still hello. I can only interact and use this configuration and achieve my goals if I'm interacting with the button event itself. I can make some tweaks and I can say hello as well. You can combine these two things if you are looking up the reference manual, and for example you can do things on push and rotation. I will probably make a short video about such small configuration snippets later on. But what you should get away from this section is that you can put in any position a new configuration preset and tweak it a bit. Use the code block with the print function to see the local variables and come up with your own ideas for a special configuration. Yeah.